You know, sometimes the answer is sitting right in front of somebody and they still can't bring themselves to say it. And I have such a great example of this. Laura Ingraham was discussing CNBC's ranking of the worst states to live in for 2026. And she almost gets it. She points out something remarkable. She goes, every single one of the 10 worst states to live in was a state that Donald Trump won. Listen to her say it. She's almost figured it out.
Now, check out this recent list. 650 CEOs were polled, and they rated the best states in which to do business. The top 10, including Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, are Republican. They're run by Republicans, except Virginia, which is at number 10, and North Carolina, kind of a purple state, at number 5. So money and people, resources, are pouring into red states. So how do the socialists brush this off? Well, they do so either by ignoring it or distorting the data or with a little help from their friends. This CNBC report just comes out. They listed the 10 worst states to live in for 2026. All the states on this list, okay, Trump won. Every state except Georgia in 2020. And the list included 4 of the top 10 states for business. How does that make any sense? Well, they had kind of a weird calculus there, but this is obviously a blatant effort to dismiss and denigrate more conservative states. But
all right. There's a really good question in there, and she never follows it to its logical conclusion. If the states consistently ranking near the bottom when you look at quality of life, education, health, economic opportunity, infrastructure, if those states consistently vote Republican, and the same states that dominate quality of life, education, health, economic opportunity are blue states, maybe we could learn something from that. Now, before anybody gets upset and emails me, this doesn't mean every blue state is wonderful or perfect. It doesn't mean that red states are all terrible or don't have nice areas and good places to live. There are really nice places to live in right-wing states, and there are struggling parts of blue states. We're talking about averages and patterns. And when researchers look at states across the board, and you look at a number of different metrics, blue states come out ahead. This isn't new. We've looked at this in detail for a decade. Life expectancy, educational attainment, household income, economic output, health insurance coverage, access to medical care, worker productivity, innovation, how many high-paying industries are there? Blue states contribute a lot more in federal tax revenue than what they get back. Many red states are takers rather than contributors. This is not every state, but this is the pattern. First, really quick, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors. Identity theft usually does not start with some movie version of how hacking takes place. It's boring details that are easy to find. Your full name, current and former addresses, phone number, date of birth, employment history. If you put a bunch of that stuff together, people can then start to figure out, do I know your security answers to security questions? Can I open accounts in your name? This is why our sponsor Incogni exists. Incogni works to remove your personal info from the internet, places like people search sites, online directories, commercial databases. Incogni starts by removing your info from hundreds of the most well-known ones and will follow up until it's done. And if you Google yourself and find your info anywhere outside of this database of hundreds of these sites, you can submit a link to Incogni and they will do what's called a custom removal. All of these processes are independently verified by Deloitte, and you can get 60% off an annual plan at incogni.com/Pakman with the code Pakman. The link is in the description. Now back to the video. And a lot of times people respond by going, well, people are moving out of California. Some people are moving out of California. Some people are moving in. Millions continue choosing to live in California, in New York, Massachusetts, Washington, Colorado, Minnesota, Connecticut, because those states offer opportunities that people value. If every blue state were the disaster that right-wingers portray it to be, you would expect businesses, universities, hospitals, venture capital, biomedical, the highest paying industries in the country to leave blue states and go to red states, but they're not doing it. And instead, what we see is that many of the largest economic engines remain in blue states. And these are the states that the right loves to attack. The irony is that right-wing media celebrates individual success stories from these same places. Silicon Valley, the Boston biotech sector, New York's financial industry, Seattle's tech companies, research universities, and medical centers. These are the broader ecosystems built over decades by making investing in infrastructure, investing in research, building up public institutions. Now, are a lot of those states more expensive to live in? Yes, that's right. Housing affordability is a big problem in a lot of those states. A lot of those states have, annoying traffic. Often state taxes are higher, or they have state taxes versus not having state taxes. These are real issues. But it is also true that there is a marketplace here, supply and demand. And people are willing to pay more to live in those places because you make more money. The schools are better. There's more cultural amenities. There's greater economic opportunity. High demand to live in those blue states is one of the reasons prices get high in the first place. Now, this doesn't mean Democrats have all the answers. Blue states have problems to solve. Housing affordability is a big one. Cost of living is a big one. Homelessness. A lot of these cities have public transit that could be a lot better. These are real problems. The question is, can we acknowledge both sides of the ledger? Because when you step back and you go, let's just compare states in general, on average, looking at a dozen important metrics, it's a really consistent pattern. And so Laura Ingraham's question, how does it make any sense that all the worst places to live are the ones that voted for Trump? Well, if you understand governance and you understand investment in education and healthcare and infrastructure contributing to the quality of life in a state, it makes sense that the places that consistently are attracting talent, businesses, universities, and investment are the places that are making the investment in that stuff to begin with. So Laura Ingraham is kind of asking the right question, but she's stopping short of the very obvious answer.